I think taking up sports as a profession is a very big deal, especially in our country, I feel. For anybody doing anything like in any sports field is a big deal because you have parents who want you to be studying, who want you to be like academics is such a major part in India that they don't consider music or art or sports to be a profession. They consider it to be basically a hobby, and
yes,
a hobby.
So true.
Yeah, but that's changing. That definitely is changing. I do see a lot of people taking up other sports or art or music or any of those, which is great because I think that comes from the parents' mindset. If the parents are supporting enough, and it is obviously a plus for sure. You can do it all by yourself, but obviously you need a backbone, you need support. So I think my parents played a very vital role in supporting me through all of this because I mean, without them, I don't even think I would have started even thinking on those lines that I could pursue it as a sport.
No rain. Guys, welcome to the Naren Agarwal show. Today I have somebody who's super talented, a sports person that you might look up to. Here's the reason. She's 22 years old and she is India's rank 7 pro female golfer. She's also the winner of the Aparajita Award in 2018 as a young sportswoman. Welcoming to the show, Miss Siddhi Kapoor. Siddhi, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot.
Siddhi, so happy to have you on the show. Thanks for taking the time out and willing to answer questions that we have for you.
Sure, definitely. Super excited.
Siddhi, first question. How does someone at the age of 22 or earlier become a ranked pro golfer? How does that happen? What does it take?
A lot of discipline.
Okay.
And a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, I believe. But they're like, it's like I literally gave all my life to golf. Like apart from studying, this is all that I used to do. So from like a hobby, it transformed into a passion, like into a profession. So yeah, I gave it my all. I used to go from school directly to the golf club, or I used to go to the golf club in the morning because school used to start at 8:30. So I used to practice. I used to get in my time of practice because I really loved doing it. I initially never thought that I would take it up as a sport, as a profession. But eventually, after you start doing something and you see progress and you see that there is something in there for you, that's what got me going and taking it up as a sport. And I turned professional when I was 18 years old. That's basically the age category when you can turn professional from.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's when I did turn professional and my journey began. And from there on, I have been just working on it.
So since when are you golfing? Since when have you started and what got you into it?
So I started playing golf when I was about 6. That is only because of my father. Okay. He got a membership of Royal Calcutta Golf Club, and for the membership, he had to be playing golf. So you had to be playing golf to be a member of the golf club. So he got into the sport like that. Then eventually, when we were of age, according to him, my sister and I, he started taking us to the golf club, and the only 2 sports that club had was golf and swimming. And swimming was something we used to do on the side, which was like recreation. And so we wanted to try a hand at golf as well. So we used to really like the greens. We really used to like whacking the ball. So dad used to teach us. So it was all fun because we used to have this little family time. Mom used to sit on the bench and read a book. So it was quite entertaining.
It's quite nice.
And just because my sister and I were doing it together, it was all the more fun. So that's what got me going and playing golf.
So it really started as something that you had joy with, that filled your heart, and it was kind of family time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And when did you kind of realize that you want to go pro at it? Because that's a big decision, I think, for anybody. And when did you realize that you had the capability to go pro? Because I think a lot of people want to go pro at a sport, but they don't have the capability. So when did those 2 puzzles match for you?
So I think post my school got over, I took a short break from playing tournaments because we have tournaments which are very packed and close all through the year.
Okay.
So I wanted to take a break and think over what I exactly want to be doing, because playing as an amateur, you get to play more, you get to represent your country a lot because there's government support and all of that. But when you go pro, you're all by yourself or your sponsors support you because you get to sponsorship. So here was the point when I wanted to assess that if I want to play for my country initially by, working hard and still being amateur, because that's a good status too, I would say. And you still get like a lot of opportunities. But I thought over it for about 6 months. I just practiced. And then I just told myself that I don't think I want to still stay at the amateur status. I want to turn pro. And I got my card and I turned pro. And that was also like a very sudden decision I think I made, but I still thought that the tournaments are going to be the same. The field is going to get better because it's professional golf. Everybody's overly competitive. There's money involved and all of that. But then the couple of few events I played, I did really well. I had so much support from my parents, and I won the fourth event I played. So that just got me super pumped that I could be a competitive person for even the people who are playing pro events. So that got me a little more pumped to work harder, and that started my professional journey.
Wow, that's amazing. So one thing that you said was very interesting. You said your parents were very supportive. How important is it for a sports person to have a support system, and who do you define as your support system?
I think taking up sports as a profession is a very big deal, especially in our country, I feel. For anybody doing anything like in any sports field is a big deal because you have parents who want you to be studying, who want you to be like academics is such a major part in India that they don't consider music or art or sports to be a profession. They consider it to be basically a hobby, and they
Yes,
a hobby.
so
So
true.
yeah, but that's changing. That definitely is changing. I do see a lot of people taking up other sports or art or music or any of those, which is great because I think that comes from the parents' mindset. If the parents are supporting enough, and it is obviously a plus for sure. You can do it all by yourself, but obviously you need a backbone, you need support. So I think my parents played a very vital role in supporting me through all of this because I mean, without them, I don't even think I would have started even thinking on those lines that I could pursue it as a sport. And when you are doing that, there's so much investment involved because you need them. You need to travel, you need to buy the equipment, you need to have the right coaching, right diet, fitness. There's so many aspects to it. You have to be mentally and physically sane to be playing the sport. Exactly. So I think they helped in all of that. They helped me get a team together. They helped me like put up a team, which is very important, I think, because if the coach is not in talking terms with the parents, or if there is the dietitianry person has to be there, then there has to be the fitness person involved. So you have to have a team together to be basically putting everything in perspective for you, to make things easy for you. All that you have to be doing is playing. So rest of the things are taken care of. So I think that is so much important for progress. And for me, I think my parents have been like utmost support, and they've just been completely the most beautiful set of parents I've had. So I mean, I couldn't have asked for better.
I'm sure they're going to be very happy when they hear you say all this for them. Huh? but I'm glad you're acknowledging the support that you received from your parents.
Yeah.
You spoke a little bit about your team, the team. So oftentimes we see a pro sports person, and we don't see the back end. What goes on? Like, so what sort of people do you have working with you? What sort of coaches do you have that we would probably never think of in general? What sort of team do you have?
So basically, generally, people just think that if you have a sport, you do have somebody who's basically training you for that sport.
Yes.
But apart from just a technical trainer, which is the most important, I'd say one of the most important people in your sports, there are other people involved, which I'd say like people don't consider golf to be related to fitness. but it has a major part in, like, fitness has a major role in golf. So you do need somebody who's training you to keep fit, to play in conditions which are basically very hot or very cold or raining or hail or maybe like little too breezy and stuff like that, because you need stamina to be playing for like 4 or 5 hours straight, because this is the longest duration for a sport. And you have to be mentally sane, so you need somebody who's keeping up with, say, helping you do meditation, helping you keep the focus, because you need to be focused for, say, about 5 hours in a round of playing sane golf. And golf is not a sport where you take a decision of based on just one day. It goes over a span of 4 days, so you need to be keeping that consistency over 4 days. So you need somebody who's training you mentally, who's training you physically, who's basically taking care of your diet as well, because obviously fitness and diet are related. And there's obviously, you need a physio if you, for injury management or for helping you out when you do have injuries or stiffness or any of that, because there's so much practice. And there's, when you're playing like a tournament day, you're basically practicing in the morning, which is basically warm up. Then you go play your 5 hours of golf, have your lunch, get back on the range to work on what you got to do the next day, because it's a 4-day program basically. So there's so much involved, and your team needs to be communicating with each other, and there has to be, so fitness and nutrition and mental side and technical coach need to go hand in hand for all of that.
Wow. See,
So
those are things that I would
is,
just never imagine, like, having a whole team working behind you. The mental coach, you said, is the most interesting for me. And I think that's the most least unheard of for most people.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the mental coach, like meditation, etc. Is this a new phenomena coming into the sporting world as well? And what sort of stuff does the mental coach do?
So in golf, a lot of people think that it's just physical activity, but there's so much mentally going on, because you have time to think when you're walking towards the ball. So those things play a lot. And I think golf is more of a mental sport than it is physical. It can
Wow.
be mentally draining you out completely, because there are so many factors playing in your mind. So keeping your mind in track through meditation, by focusing, there are a couple of drills and tools that the mental coach gives you to work on, or they tell you to write journals or give yourself a little pep talk and all of that. So they help you through times where you feel that you are nervous and scared, and how to tackle it. It's not like a sports person doesn't get nervous. Like, I believe Tiger Woods, still at the highest level, is nervous about a couple of things and is probably afraid of the water or the sand or not hitting the ball correctly. So I think that is a major part. But the mental coach comes in when basically how to tackle with these situations instead of not acknowledging them. Like, you need to acknowledge that you are getting a little nervous, because that'll help you think better and straighter.
Wow,
So, yeah.
that's super interesting. Would you say this is a newer phenomena in the world of golfing, in the world of sports, or this has always been there in golf because it is so mental, a big part of
I
it?
think it's not, it's just people are getting to know more about it. It has been there, it's just not enough acknowledged and given enough importance to as it was. Like, now I think people are getting aware of the fact that there is a mental side to it, which is going to help you play better golf or any other sport. I think I don't exactly know how they come in play for other sports, but for golf I believe that, yeah, mental side comes in completely and people are getting to know about it, and that's when these psychologists or mental trainers are coming in to help you get mentally tougher. So I think it's not newer, it's just people are getting more aware about it.
So you spoke about meditation. What kind of meditation do you do? Is this like off the field, like sitting down, watching your breath? Is that some meditation practices that you do, or is it like visualizing things?
Yeah, so those are two kinds. So I do both of them, but
Okay.
I haven't really been a fan of meditation, to be honest, because I am somebody who is really always pepped and stuff, and I am not somebody who's very very calm. Like, I can be a little too absurd. So, but then the meditation part is sometimes. So I started doing 15 minutes of meditation, that is sitting and just concentrating on your breath. And I think for starters, that is great because you can't focus on a particular thing for a very long span. And even visualization, that is something I do just before going to bed, uh, or like just before sleeping off. I'm lying down, I'm thinking about, or I'm replaying the holes that supposing I'm playing like a golf course in my mind, which basically gets you to perfect it. And this is what my coach taught me basically. So my first coach, he taught me that, when you think about all the good things that you do before you go to bed. So if you want to be playing like a round of golf, think about the best shots that you can, probably produce. So when you do that repetitively, there'll be days when you actually do it in reality. Like make your dreams into reality, or make your visualization into reality. So that helps a lot, and that is something great. I think people can use it in real life, or even like generally life. I feel you can use it if you want things to go your way. Just keep visualizing it, and you will be doing that.
That's super powerful. That's like creating mental images of it again and again so that your
Yeah.
mind accepts it as a reality and makes it happen. I don't know if this is factually correct, but I heard somebody say that Tiger Woods, when they asked them, when do you take a shot? He said, I never take a shot before I absolutely visualize the ball going into the hole. Unless I am convinced, I will not take the shot, which really shows you the power of visualization. Even one of the top golfers in the world was saying something like that, and you repeating the same thing. That's super powerful. That's super powerful.
Yeah.
When it comes to sport, we don't really associate the mind so much to it. I think now that realization is coming. We always focused on the body and the fitness, but now the
Yeah.
mental fitness and mental health is really coming into the equation, and that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Giving yourself a pep talk. Amazing. Who's your favorite golfer? Who's a golfer you look up to?
Tiger Woods, hands down. After
Tiger
his
Woods.
comeback, I think everyone in the world of golf is just in awe of what he's done. So Tiger Woods, hands down.
So, for the people who don't know, Tiger Woods had a big peak in his career, and then he had a drop because of a lot of personal issues.
Yes.
And then he just came back. What's more impressive for you? Is it the fact that he was number one, or is it the fact that he could make a comeback like that?
I think the fact that he could make a comeback like that, because there was so many reporters and journalists who kept, telling the world that, probably this is the end of Tiger and he's not going to be able to make a comeback into golf because of the back injury that he has, was basically probably the worst a golfer can face. And back is one of the most vital aspects of hitting the ball, because you're actually moving around and you're swinging and you're doing other stuff. So you need your back to be strong enough. And when he did have that back injury, all of us were pretty much, the golfing fraternity was kind of hoping that he does come back, but then there were like the odds were too less. So his comeback was real and it was amazing, and he did it. He made it happen somehow.
Have you ever
And
met Tiger Woods?
no, I haven't, and I
Okay.
really wish I can.
I don't think you're far. I mean, you're already a pro golfer, so
Yeah, fish.
that's amazing. Okay, perfect. I'll move on to another question I have for you. How is it different for a woman pro golfer and a male pro golfer? You can talk about our setting in India or in the world in general. What are the differences, would you say?
I think women's golf in India is picking up slowly, but it is definitely picking up from where we've actually come a long way, because golf was considered a male sport and only men were involved with it, and so golf wasn't really a women's sport. So from there we've come a long way, because we now have pro golfers in India, and there's so many women who are playing and coming into the sport. Even if it's on a recreation basis, I feel they're still coming in. But obviously the numbers are drastic. I mean, I think the ratio is, I can't even like compare to women and men. There's so many male players in India right now. But I mean, when it comes to the monetary factor, obviously the women are not getting enough sponsors or enough people who are basically willing to invest in women's golf. But I think that will pick up when the numbers do pick up, because the number of women golfers in pro women golfers in India is just about 34, I think 34, 35, or maybe like late 30s. But male golfers are, I'm sure, about 400 professional golfers. So the ratio is massive. But if we keep bringing in this sport, and I think it is us who need to push other girls to be playing the sport, or starting to have fun so that they can pursue it as a career option. So with that, I think it will pick up, and it has picked up. So, but compared to the international standards, that's not the case. The number of women and male are quite close. But even then, the women still get underpaid when it comes to being the sport. The number of sponsors are less. The prize money for the total event is far, far lesser than that of the women, that of the male, which is kind of discriminating.
I was going to ask you that. Do you think that's fair? And what's your opinion on it?
I don't think that's fair, because I think women are doing well too. And I mean, if the numbers are great and if the women are doing well, people are coming to watch, the sponsors can increase. But I think male golf is given such a big boost that women golfers are just lagging behind. It's like cricket in India, but still better. Like, women's cricket is not getting that much sport, or it wasn't, at least. It still is now picking up. But the male cricket is just on a boom, and it has been on a boom. So maybe when it comes to internationally, it will pick up and we will get better internationally. But right now, it's not close to being at par also.
Wow. When it comes to being a pro after 18, you said under 18 the government sponsors you, but after that you go by yourself. That requires a lot of investment. That requires a good amount of investment. And what does a pro golfer hope for? Do you want sponsors, and what kind of sponsors come your way, and what kind of investment are we talking about?
So when it comes to playing golf is like a profession, you can't, I feel you can do it by yourself, but initially you do need your parents' support, because there's so much of funding required when it comes to being coaches, like getting your coaches in play, or getting your diet in play, or even equipment, because golf is not exactly a very cheap sport. So it is not exactly like getting a bat and a ball and just getting onto the field and you're good to go. There are like so many aspects, and it's so technical now that you need people around you to help you out. You can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
So of course there's a lot of investment, and it is pretty expensive, I think, which is why if you don't see results in India, which you don't want to take it internationally, and thus you drop the sport and probably get married, or do something else when it comes to girls. So I think the ratio, if you don't see that success, you drop it in your late 20s, and then you probably want to take up something else, or you get married and you probably have kids or something. But if we do have enough sponsors, we can invest that money into our training, which is obviously going to be great, because everybody's willing to work hard. If you're given the passion, if you have the passion, you're already pro. So you have the passion, you have everything you want. If you have the funds, you can probably go to a coach in, say, the US, which is probably get into an academy in the US and train, and get your game up to the mark. But there's so much money involved. Like, you need to be traveling to be playing tournaments. It's not like you just practice and you can invest all your funds in practicing, but you need to be traveling, so you need money for that as well.
And all that's personal investment, huh? The government doesn't sponsor you.
Absolutely, completely. So we be playing like 18 events in a year. So that is 18. So that'll be about into 2. That is the amount of trips I'm going to be doing at least. And then you play a little foreign events, like international events, which is obviously much more expensive than hotel stay, than transport, eating. All is on you. So it is obviously
That's a huge cost.
And even the equipment is really expensive. Unless and until you're sponsored, it is very expensive. And the people who are, there are not many people who are getting sponsored. I think not even 10% on my tour are getting sponsored. So that is pretty sad, because if they do get sponsored, they're going to invest the money properly into themselves and try to make a future out of it. Because if you have the funds, you can make it happen in golf. You can.
So who
So
sponsors typically a pro golfer? Are these
uh,
companies like brands and companies that sponsor you, that want to carry their brand name, that you carry
yeah,
their brand name on your equipment, etc.?
yeah, they do. I mean, if somebody's sponsoring you, you have to wear their brand name on
Yes.
your shirt or your cap or anything like that. So our title sponsors Hero, and they sponsor the entire tour. So they sponsor our events. There are a couple of other people sponsoring as well. But when it comes to an individual, there's somebody like, I feel only golf brands are going to be sponsoring girls, because they are the ones who can see, like, they have the passion for golf. So I don't see somebody XYZ coming and sponsoring the girls. Like, probably somebody who is acquainted to golf, or who has passion for golf, or somebody who's wealthy enough to let go a couple of lakhs in a year. Those are the people who are willing to sponsor. But mostly it's golfing companies. So I get sponsored by Strixon, which is basically a golfing company itself. So the only golfing companies who are basically now sponsoring me.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, that sounds like a whole different world that I'm not used to, and I'm so intrigued to hear about it from you.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges, or one big challenge that you faced in your career as a pro golfer?
Oh, so about a year back, I actually underwent a surgery regarding my left ureter. I got it reimplanted, and that was something that set me back a little bit when it comes to golf, because I was basically 3 years into me playing professional golf, and in the middle of my career, in the middle of the year, I had to get operated, and I got diagnosed. I was having very bad stomach aches and issues, which I couldn't deal with because I was traveling a lot. I used to be alone most of the times, and I couldn't deal with myself. So we got into the diagnosis and stuff. And after I got diagnosed, I underwent the surgery, which was kind of a setback, I'd say, but it was fine. I had family to support me, so that was great. And I had basically a chill vacation in the hospital and then at home. So that was kind of a bit challenging, but more challenging was not the fact that I went into surgery, the fact that I had to come back and play golf again professionally. So to be prepared mentally, physically more than ever, because I went through a surgery and my core was really weak. So physically, my trainer really helped me out get into, and I couldn't do something very rigorous back then. I had to take it really slow. So last year towards the end was when I started full-fledged workouts. I got operated in April. So till then I was taking it very slow because I still wanted to play golf. I've been swinging the club for like many months. And then fitness kicked in, and diet, of course, because that was very important. And my trainer really helped me get back on, and I'm really grateful. So yeah,
Wow,
that was very challenging for me.
I'm glad you're so recovered, and I would not be able to say that you've been through a surgery like this, because you seem very good and fine, and you're back to rank 7, which is amazing. Um, a, a surgery, I know, can be very transformative in many ways and can really change the trajectory of a sports person's life. But I'm so glad you're backing up on your feet 100%. That's
Thanks.
amazing. You talked about tournaments around the world and a lot of tournaments. Where all has golf taken you, and what all amazing locations that you want to speak about and that you remember?
So I have basically just been in India. I have just played professional golf in India, but I've had a couple of rounds in Thailand and Dubai, but not professionally or not even an event. I just a recreation that I took a holiday and I went and played. But all over India, like everywhere, I have traveled for golf. Like it could be like there's so many places. I think I've traveled most of India by now for golf, and I keep doing
What
it
are some
every
unique places that we never hear about and that you've been to? Because I think India
week.
is such a diverse land.
We go to places that are like city-wise, like golf courses that are located very in the heart of the city, so that transportation or food and staying is not a problem. But there are a couple of resorts that we go to, which is a lot of fun also, which are a little far away from Bangalore, like a little drive away from Bangalore. I need to stay over there. So the couple of resorts are really fun, and Bangalore and Pune, I'd say, yeah.
That's
So
pretty
yeah,
cool. So it's like getting a little bit outside the city and being in a resort,
yeah.
playing the golf there, really just being in the place that you're
But I
playing
feel
in.
when you are in a golf course, you just feel you're not in a city because it's all green,
Yeah,
lush, and
you're
beautiful. And
so right.
yeah,
I think golfers are one of the luckiest sports people because they're always breathing in such fresh air because they got grass all around them, as opposed to
yeah.
maybe a kabaddi player who's like breathing in the dust and the mud.
I agree.
Just
I agree.
kidding. But that's amazing. What's your favorite golf course among all that you've been to? What's your favorite golf course?
I'd say Karnataka Golf Association, which is in Bangalore, and it is in the heart of the city. I love that golf course. Apart from, so I really, really do like my home club, which is RCGC, because
I was
it's
going to
really
say
well.
that if they're viewers from RCGC, they would be offended.
No, it is beautiful. It's just that I play on it every single day. So if I didn't get an opportunity, I would play on something else. So I think my golf course is by far the best and the most well maintained for sure in India. But so is KGA. KGA is also really, really good, and they have amazing food. Like they have amazing dosas, and like I don't know, the food is just amazing, which is why I always want to go back.
That's amazing. Tell us a little bit about the Royal Calcutta Golf Club. I know it's a very historic club. It was one of the first clubs in Asia, one of the first golf clubs in Asia, or
Second oldest golf club in the world.
second oldest golf club in the world. That's crazy. Tell us a little bit about it because I know this is your home golf club, and I know all the people who play at the RCGC are very passionate about it. So tell us a little bit about the club.
I don't even know if people know this, but RCGC back in the days, what my father told me was a 36-hole golf club, which is, if somebody knows, RCGC and Tolly are like across. So RCGC used to be the only golf club which had 36 holes, which was basically combined with the entire now, which is the road and basically the main road, was used to be RCGC. And I really wish they still had 36 holes. But it is beautiful. It is well maintained. It has the best putting green on this planet, I feel. I just have not seen any putting green better than this. And it just feels like home because I started going to RCGC when I was 6 years old. And since then, I know every worker, every waiter, every staff, every greenskeeper. And it's just family to me. So I think going back to the club is always so much fun. And it is just amazing. It is the best golf club for sure. For me, definitely. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Who have been some of your teachers at golf? Who did you learn golf from? And are these notable people or are these different people that came in your life in and out at the club?
Yeah. So my first ever golf coach, mentor, I think everything, father figure was Indrajit Bhalotia. He is still into golfing. He's still playing himself. He's a professional golfer. He was Asia's top male golfer at his peak. He used to hit the ball the longest also. And he now has an academy in Tollygunge Golf Club. But he was the first person who basically taught me how to play golf. He till date is my father figure. Like I still look up to him. If I have any issues with golf, I do approach him, and he's so approachable and so sweet. And so it is him and his summer camps basically that got me very excited and attached to golf, because he used to hold these little summer camps and winter camps for like 3 weeks, and all kids your age used to be around and used to make friends and used to be so much fun. So he is somebody who's basically taught me golf for over 10, I think 13 years. I have been with him. And then after that, I moved to somebody called Jesse Grewal in Chandigarh. and he is also amazing. He is Shubhankar Sharma's coach, who is right now the top male golfer in the country, and he has so many students, and which is why we couldn't cope up, and going to Chandigarh all the time was such a issue. But yeah, he's been amazing, and right now I'm training with somebody called Lawrence, who is based out of who's come down from London, and he's based in Pune. So
Wow.
yes, I'm with him now.
Wow,
So I
that's
think
amazing.
it's changing, but it's just expanding. Like I still am in touch with all my mentors and all my coaches, and I still can go back to them to ask them about something that I have a doubt about, because everybody is very sweet out here. Like it's just everything's very healthy, which is
And that's
great.
amazing. It's like you learning from somebody, getting their basics, and then learning more and expanding yourself, which is amazing.
Everybody's ideas are very different. Everybody has their own perspective about the sport, about how to swing the club. So I think it's good to know about what other people think as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. What's If I were to ask you, define golf for me, or what is golf to you? How do you describe that?
I think golf is just I wouldn't say it's a part of my life. It is something that has made me who I am, because it has taught me so many things apart. It has basically developed me into the person I am today, because the discipline or the hard work and the dedication or the passion for something is only here in me because of golf. Because if I didn't find that sport, I really don't know what I would be doing right now, because life without golf was is just going to be so bad. It has basically evolved me into the person I am, and it is everything. I absolutely love the sport. I respect it. It has changed me completely, and I I don't think I will be able to part with golf ever. Even if it's not on a professional level, I still want to be in touch with the sport for life.
That's so powerful. The way you said it, it just brings forth that energy that you have and you've given to the sport, and in return, the sport has given so much to you. It's tough for somebody who does not play golf maybe to relate, but when you say that, I can just really see the energy within, and that's amazing. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. As to what golf means to you and how big the sport has become for you, and in some ways your life.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
absolutely.
What keeps you going, Siddhi? What keeps you going? I mean, you're 22. You got ranked number 7 pro golf. You have sponsors. I mean, why wake up and go hard the other day? Why don't you relax? Like, why not watch Netflix now? What keeps you going?
It's the passion that drives you, the passion that gives you that motivation of waking up every day and going to the golf club. If you really do love something, you are going to give it your all. And there are times when this diminishes, and there are times when I want to sit back and relax and I don't want to do this anymore. And then when I do have lean periods, I do sit back and I don't play golf for a very long time, and which is kind of relaxing, because then, like right now we're all sitting at home and we have a lockdown, and I think I've been in touch with golf for so many years that I didn't exactly get this big a break from it. So this was a time when I could sit back and think about what is golf to me exactly. And I got the time, and right now I would do anything to go to the golf club and start playing again. Like I have got back my passion and the fire to work harder now more than ever. Because right now I'm just sitting and thinking that when will I go to the golf club, or when would I hit my first golf ball? Because I'm now rethinking about it, which is obviously very motivating. And it's great to actually have these lean spans and sit about and think over it, and then go about it and find your motivation again. So I think that is very important.
So it's the passion. It's the passion that keeps you going every day. And
Yeah.
what's really notable is that you were honest. Everybody has those ups and down moments, and when you have the downs, it's okay to take a little bit and then go back at it, which is
Yeah.
awesome. What do you think will take pro Indian golf to the pro international level? Have there been Indian, especially women golfers, who have gone to the international level? What do you think will take that? Is that something you aspire to do?
Yes, absolutely. There have been a couple of girls who have taken pro golf internationally, and it's a great start because when you see your peers and your people you're playing with going to the next level, that basically brings in the fire in you to want to work harder. Because if they can do it, they are motivating you to do it. So I think somebody who's taken the first step of going into international golf has paved a way for all of us, and we all can do it. So I definitely want to take pro golf internationally, and I want to be playing it on the international level. And I think the only thing that can take you to the international level right now for me is to be feeling mentally more stronger. Even if I do feel mentally more stronger, I think I can take it to the next level, because I still am lacking in this aspect, I feel. But that's what I'm working on right now. So hopefully soon.
That's amazing. That's what I think puts you where you are, because you have that self-awareness. Okay, these are my areas that I need to work on, and you're so honest about admitting, like, okay, this is an area I need to work on, and that's what I'm working on, which is awesome. I don't think a lot of people have the courage to admit that and say it out loud, or have the awareness about it. And I guess that's what makes you number 7 in India at such a young age. That self-awareness that you have, that's amazing. That's beautiful. Siddhi, with sports comes superstitions. Almost all sports people, I see they have superstitions. Right lace first, then left lace, right foot on the field first, then left foot, all these things. What are some superstitions in golf, and do you have superstitions?
There are so many superstitions in golf. I think there's so many superstitions in life generally, but I think in sport, there's so many people I've heard the weirdest superstitions from, and I feel that they can be really imposing at times, because if somebody tells you their superstition, you feel that if that it might go south, or
That's hilarious. What are some crazy superstitions? What are some crazy superstitions that you heard and you're like, whoa, that's weird?
I have a friend who basically cuts his nails and shaves his beard so before the first round of the tournament, he cuts his nails and shaves his beard because he thinks that it's like good omen. And I'm like, that's weird. Or there's some certain people who like to take their so the caddy hands over the club to the guy. So he wants his caddy to hand over the club only with his right hand and not with his left, or one of those. Or the certain, so basically you mark the ball on the green. When you can pick it up, you can mark it and pick it up. So certain people have superstitions on which way to put the marker. Do you want to put it like this? Do you want to put it upside down? Or whatever makes you sink the putt, whatever makes you hold the ball, basically.
Right.
So people do have these really weird superstitions, and I have it with the marker actually. So I have a little it's like a poker chip marker, which was given to me by somebody. And I just feel that since that has come into my life, or my golf life, every time I mark the ball and I pick it up, I feel more confident with that marker. It's not like I will sink it or I will hold it. I just feel that, yes, the chances of me doing well is very high. So I think that marker is quite and I don't know what I'm going to do if I lose it.
Yeah.
So I hope to never it.
Well, let's put a GPS tracker on it if we can. Also, I hear something about a unicorn on your golf set. What's that unicorn? Yeah.
Yes. So I had this little unicorn toy given by my sister to me, and I don't even know where she got it from. And it was basically a keychain for one of your keys or your backpacks or something. And I just felt like I want to make my bag a little cute. So I'll put it on the bag. And I had it for a very, very long time until it broke off and I lost it. But every time I had it and things were going south, I used to just look at my golf set or something. I used to look at it, and it used to give me such a nice vibe and such a good feeling of positivity and stuff like that. So I think that really kept me going during the bad rounds or the bad shots I used to hit, but I lost it. And
Oh,
with time, I forgot about it. Initially, I used to think I'm not doing that well because that's gone. But yeah,
that's so funny. I'm glad you got over it. And I think these things act as an anchor for your mind to take it straight back into positivity and the mood. So more than the object, it's about you seeing the object and then your mind coming back into the
back.
positive and the good frame of mind.
That's
And
true.
like, yeah, so I think that's useful to have. I mean, who knows if superstitions are real or not? As long as it
Yeah.
works, what's the harm? Yeah, amazing. Siddhi, do you have any tips for golf enthusiasts, especially women golfers or golfers in general, people who look up to becoming a pro golfer or getting into golf? What are some basic tips you have for them?
I think for starters, I would want everybody who's looking at golf or playing it for now just have a lot of fun. I think that is for starters because if you're not having fun, if you take it too seriously, if you feel that you've got to be very overly disciplined and stuff like that to be a professional golfer, that's not true. If you got to be disciplined, you definitely got to be very disciplined. But then I feel if you're not having that fun element and if you feel that hitting those bad shots or having bad days is over stressing you out, you're going to lose that passion. You're going to lose that will of driving you to the range the very next day to work on it. Instead, have that fun element going. Try to make it very innovative, and keep it very light. If you keep it very light, you would want to go back every single day and do the same thing. If it's stressing you out, you wouldn't want to do it. So I think for starters, that'll be great.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. The fact that you're a pro golfer and you're talking about having fun with the sport, don't let it become dry. If it becomes dry, it's going to be boring and you never want to do it again. That's
True.
amazing. That's amazing. I have to say, Siddhi, that you've really answered the question so honestly, and I can sense the genuinity that's coming out of you because uh, talking about your downfalls, talking about how you really feel, being honest, this is going to be really valuable for everybody who's watching the episode. So I really want to thank you for your genuinity and also thank you for being an image for women's golf and taking, pro golf, uh, especially in the women's sector in India, forward. So thank you for doing that, and thanks for all the things that you shared with us. I think it's going to be so helpful for us.
Yeah, it was great to have this chat, and it was really nice. Thank you a lot. You are doing great with this podcast, and I think you're reaching out to a lot of people, and you're calling in so many different people from different aspects of life, which is great because you are making other people aware of what a person is going through and how they're dealing with life, and this is so motivating because tomorrow I'm going to see like say so many other people doing well, and that is probably going to push me to do work a little better. So I think that's great what you are doing, and I really really appreciate that you're bringing it out to the world.
Thank you so much, Siddhi. Very kind of you.